Alright, what is up guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health, fitness, social well-being. Today is day 4. Yeah, day 4 of week 2 of this 4-week block of my new programming under Brad Couillard. And this week's been going really well so far. So on Saturday for squats, I worked up to a top single at RPE 7 with a 5-second eccentric with 420 pounds on squat. And then I followed that up with 5 back down sets of 4, just regular squats with 74% of my max. So that was, I believe, 368 pounds. So that day went really well. Then I also had just some tempo pulls, like really light, easy tempo pulls. Been working a lot on my positioning. I'll show you guys more of that actually tomorrow, kind of what I've changed with my sumo positioning even more, because I'm feeling really good, but I'll say that for tomorrow's session. And then on Sunday for my primary bench day, I worked up to a top single, once again with a tempo eccentric and a long pause, but ended up working up to 314 pounds for an RP of 7.
Really hard.
And honestly, like, to be able to move 314 like that, like it's joke weight, even with a really long eccentric and a really long pause, it's just a really good sign. Like my best ever RP7 comp bench is 330 pounds with a regular tempo and a regular pause. So to be able to only be 15 pounds off of that this early in the game is a pretty good sign. And I'm really, enjoying the dark side of that max grip with thus far. It's been feeling pretty good. At this point, it doesn't even feel abnormal or awkward or uncomfortable. I'm very used to it, so I'm glad I've acclimated to that pretty well. And then back down sets and accessory work on that day went really well as well. And then yesterday, which was Monday, I just had 7 sets of 3 with a 3-second tempo eccentric with 69% of my max on squats, which was 340 pounds. I didn't get to report that for you guys just because I actually trained with a client that day in the gym we were at. It's just very difficult to get any type of decent footage, so I didn't record that. But anyway, like I said, today is day 4. It's my secondary bench day, volume focused bench day. So yeah, man, just go get into it, show you guys what we got up today. You guys, like I said, if you guys watched that video I did over the difference between RPE and then RIR, rate of perceived exertion versus reps in reserve, you've already seen the rest of these days. Now I'm just kind of taking you through them in the more raw format. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, so I am currently doing build-up sets of 8 to a top set of 8 at RP 7, and in this case when I say RP, I actually do mean reps in reserve, since it's a volume day, it's a secondary day, and it's higher reps, so it's a lot easier to gauge based upon how many reps it feels like I have left, more so than just going purely based off exertion of how difficult it feels. I mean, because for me, especially on bench, sets of 8 aren't going to feel like anything less than an RP 8 period, just because I hate higher reps on bench press, but in terms of actually knowing how many reps I have left in the tank. Now, last week I did 115 kilograms, that's 253 pounds. Right now I have 259 pounds, 117.5 and a half kilograms on the bar, which isn't that much more, but once again, I know for me that when it's this high of reps, it only takes the smallest jump for me to go up in terms of how many reps I have left in reserve. Whereas if it was less, I could probably make a bigger jump, about 10 pounds versus this one, which is only a 6-pound jump. But I think this is probably going to be it. So we'll do it for 8, and if it's it, cool. And if not, then I'll just push the weight a little bit more. But I'm pretty confident this is going to be it. Yeah, so that felt perfect. I legit felt like I had exactly 3 left in the tank. Now in actuality, is it possible that I probably had a little bit more, or rather is it possible I could have done like, you know, 5 more pounds in there, like 265, and still had 3 reps left in the tank, just based on how consistent my form felt? Possibly so, but I'm not mad with that at all, because the last time I hit this for a high rep set, I think it was like a top set of 6, and it was like an RPE 7.5 to 8. So to hit this for 8 reps, so 2 more reps at an RPE of 7 is like just really, really good. So now we have back down sets with, I believe, 8% less, so pretty much just 92% of my top set for 2 back down sets of 8. And then we get into the craftsmanship.
Went to LSU to play as a defensive lineman, but now Orgeron carries forward. What happened when legendary former Alabama coach Bear Bryant tried to Coach, what do you think Alabama recruiting?
I worked my ass off, gaining experience. So I wasn't making any money. Still don't want to make 50, 60, 80.
Yeah, it's a lot of sacrifice.
I wouldn't change it now, but 15 years ago,
All right, guys, so the workout is done, and I'm feeling pretty good, feeling a nice little pump action going on. Before some of y'all try to clown me on that incline bench, which you have every right to do so because it is a far cry from what I can flat bench, keep a couple things in mind. One, this is secondary bench day, so I've already done incline bench earlier in the week on my primary day and went a little bit heavier than that. But no, all jokes aside, the thing is, one, I have not consistently incline bench pressed in years, as I kind of mentioned like a couple videos ago. Two, I am doing it after all of my normal flat bench volume, so the amount of weight I can do in general isn't going to be that great. And then 3, you know, with Brad giving me stuff like the tempo eccentrics, the long pauses, and just trying to find a good comfortable position, I'm just taking it a little bit easy right now and just kind of building it up steadily and gradually, making sure I'm keeping the accessory works true to the RPE, increasing the load over time as I can, but making sure I'm keeping, you know, the main thing, which is that this is just for additional volume groups on the muscle. So kind of keep my ego aside, because like, let's say I throw 185 on there, I'm not gonna be able to do that for 4 sets of 8 at the prescribed tempo at like an RPE of 7 to 8. It's probably gonna be like RPE 9 to 10. So we'll build it up over time. You know, that's one of my goals, is seeing like, you know, how far I can push some of these accessory movements, some more than others. But anyway, that's it for today's workout. So I will see you guys tomorrow to show you what day 5 looks like. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of deadlifting. So I'll see y'all then. All right, guys, so it is day 2 of this video and day 5 as far as training. Now, I already, as I said, I mentioned this in my RPE versus RIR video, because for that video on screen, you guys saw days 3 through 6. So yes, I'm currently training 6 days a week. Now, the general format of my days really isn't that different, in the sense of, like, when I was still training 5 days a week, I had primary days, secondary days, and a tertiary day. It's pretty much that same format. The main difference is, instead of it being an SBD day for day 1 and then a full body accessory day for day 2, it's squat and deadlifts on day 1 for my primary day with lower body accessories. Then day 2 is my primary bench day with upper body accessories. Then instead of resting on Monday the way that I would before, I go in on Monday and do my secondary squat day with lower body accessories. Then day 4, which you guys saw yesterday, is my secondary, well, you know, yesterday for me, same video for you guys, but that's my secondary bench day with upper body accessories. Today is day 5, which is my secondary deadlift day and my tertiary squat day with, yes, once again, lower body accessories. And then tomorrow, Thursday, is day 6, which is my tertiary bench day and upper body accessories, and then I rest on Friday. So I like the setup because, one, I actually enjoy being in the gym more often. It's one of the few things I actually understand from the standpoint of why people do things like bro splits or push-pull legs, even though it's not as, you know, optimal as like a push-pull split or upper-lower or full-body split. But this shows that, once again, there are other methods to have more frequency in the gym and still be doing like a more optimal setup, because I'm pretty much just doing 3 upper body days and 3 lower body days. It's just knowing how to manage everything in terms of your overall recovery and fatigue. 2, my sessions are like consistent as far as like how long they take me. Like with the 5-day setup, some of my days were really, really short, and then some were like hours long. So right now they're all like, you know, pretty consistent in terms of time, which is nice. So I don't have any crazy long drawn out days, but I don't have any other days where I just kind of come in and I'm like, yo, like, why did I even go to the gym today? Because it was such a quick session. And then the third thing is just, like I said, the fact that I actually like that I can focus more on accessory movements as a whole with this type of setup, because I'm not doing like, you know, all 3 lifts in one day, or I just don't feel as drained. So it really allows me to focus more on more accessory movements in this off season, especially for my lower body. So today, as I said, we've got SSB squats, so safety squat bar squats, and then we've got deadlifts, and then I'll be showing you guys kind of what's up with the setup as far as and the accessories for today. So let's head to the gym. We're going to POD today. Going to get in with the homie Anas, who's also started working under Brad Couliar around the same time as me. I don't believe our days are exactly the same, right? Like our setups are kind of similar, but I think, like, you know, our primary days are on a different day. So I think he's going to be doing, like, I think his tempo squats today or something like that. But anyway, let's get to the gym, get to work. So my first set felt really, really good. That was a top set of 5 at RPE 7 with a 3-second tempo, 1 count, pause, and drive back up. Last week I did 300 for my top set. By the way, the bar itself weighs like 70 pounds, so keep that in mind when adding the plates. But last week I did my top set with 300 pounds. And actually didn't feel as bad as what I thought it would for me my first time doing it, but it felt even more natural today. So I did 310 pounds for my top set, and now I have 3 back down sets of 5 with 10% less. It's gonna be 280 pounds. And like, all I'm focused on is being in a perfectly good stacked upright position, not letting myself fold over, not letting myself be overextended, just keep my torso nice and stacked, bracing hard into that, and then maintaining that tension, that stacked position all the way into the hole, and driving back up with it. so SSB squats are done. Felt really, really good as a whole. So next I have deadlifts. I have 15 sets of 1 with 76%. That's right, 15 singles. Now a lot of you might be wondering why not do a 5x3 or a 3x5. It's the same workload so long as the weight's on the bar. And I've explained this before, kind of the benefits of doing like singles for multiple sets, but basically it's the fact that when it comes to the deadlift, especially the sumo, I'm really trying to work on being more patient off the ground and really initiating the lift with my legs by, like, you know, I get the slack out, I wedge into position, and from there I'm just pressing into the ground, basically trying to leg press the ground away from myself. And the thing is, with multiple rep works, the preceding reps are always easier than the first one because you kind of get the rebound of that eccentric loading. Even if you come to a dead stop, you kind of just get that momentum going. With this, I'm forced to treat every single like it's the only rep I'm doing, because it is for that set, right? Which is gonna have better carryover to powerlifting, where you only get 1 attempt. You know, like for your first, second, third attempt, you only get 1 try at the weight. And it's also just forcing me to really reinforce proper positioning, since I have the chance to take my time with the setup for every single rep. So yeah, 76% for me is gonna be about like 429, 430 pounds, something like that. So we're gonna load that up on the bar and get right into it. I've already told you guys things I've changed in my sumo a couple video ago. You know, I have a slightly wider stance now, which is more comfortable for me. I only brought my stance in to begin with so I could like learn to stay in the quads better, but now that I can do that, I'm back to my more comfortable wider stance, wedging into the bar, and then rather than trying to like wedge the bar off the ground, I'm wedging into it, then ramping the tension so I can maintain that proper position versus trying to rush it off the floor. It also allows it to be a lot faster once I do break the floor in terms of my lockout. Something else that I've changed too is you guys often know that like what I do is before I start, I'll look up to set my back and get it tighter, and that definitely helps me keep my upper back in a tighter position. But what I've noticed is that sometimes it can make my lockout feel a little bit weird, just because when I look up, I just don't have as good a connection with pressing into the ground. And vice versa, if I keep my head too down, then I feel like I let my back round a little bit. So I'm kind of like more in like a neutral position now. And once again, not for the reason that a lot of people think, like the myth that like, oh, you have to stay neutral, you're gonna mess up your neck, your spine, obviously isn't true. There's a lot of top level lifters and just lifters in general who've been lifting for years with putting their head up and they're fine. It's one thing if you start with your head down and then you crank it up as the lift goes on, whether you're pulling or squatting, that can be dangerous because while there's a heavy load on your back, you're literally changing the position of your head. But if instead what you're doing is putting it high from the start and keeping that maintained the whole time, that's not gonna be as dangerous or detrimental to you in terms of like your neck, your spine, everything like that. But for me, just in terms of having a better connection with feeling the ground and pressing into the ground, I find that kind of keeping my head more straightforward allows me to just get that better connection with being patient and driving through. So let's see how it goes.
She ever wanted was attention.
I don't know what that is. I'm not liking it. I like it.
Alright guys, so I am 9 sets in, 6 more to go. Unfortunately, my thumbs can only take so much of it, man, so I gotta use the straps of shame. The good thing is, last week, I only got through like 5 sets hook, and then I had to like strap up. It's cool, from all the work I did last prep, I've gotten to where like working up to a single for hook is no issue, but whenever it's higher reps or just multiple sets, it just like, it gets to a point where I can't grip the bar as tightly as I want without it causing more pain, and that discomfort caused me to like kind of slack on the tension, my overall positioning. So we're gonna strap up for these last 6 sets, and then we get to the fun accessories. Alright guys, so I got home from the gym really late last night just because I trained a lot later than usual, and I meant to close the video out last night, but I didn't. So I thought, okay, let's close out this morning, but then I realized, yo, I'm also going to show you guys today too, so that way you guys will officially have been taken through all 6 days of training, because you know, you guys saw day 1 and day 2 in the raw form, and now you will have seen day 3 through 6. Well, technically I still have to show you guys day 3, but like I said, it's literally nothing just been like a very, very light 7x3 tempo squat. So today we've got some very light percentage-based triples on bench, but it's with a 5-second tempo eccentric and a 2-count pause. These guys see a lot of tempo work with this first block under Brad. And then we have some feet up bench, so Larson press bench, and then after that, just some accessories. So yeah, I'm just gonna take you guys through all of that, and then we'll close this video out. Alright guys, so that is it for the tempo 6x3, and I'll have in the description box down below a video that I want to say, like at this point maybe about a year ago, over the benefits of doing tempo work. I specifically in the video talk about like tempo squats versus pause squats, the difference between the two, the similarities and the application of both. And what I talk about in that video can be applied to pretty much tempo deadlifts or tempo bench press. But what we're doing right now, or rather what Brad's doing with me in terms of all the tempo work right now, is really just technique refinement. I've made a lot of changes with my movements in the sense of like, you know, going like my stance with squat. You know, you guys, for a long time I was squatting with the closer stance, then going to naturals, I tried a really wide one. Now I'm somewhere in between. I'm more externally rotated with a closer grip on the bar, so I'm less, you know, like this and more like this. On deadlift, head position, wider sumo stance. On bench press, wider grip, feet more forward to create more tension. So what the tempo work is forcing me to do really is just really groove these new movement patterns so like they feel very comfortable, very intuitive, and very natural, so that there's no misgrooves. It's like that's the thing, like even I've said it before, like, oh yeah, I misgroove that rep, but we should get so comfortable and consistent with doing the movement pattern over and over and over to where we really shouldn't misgroove. It should take something very crazy or drastic to cause us to misgroove it, like hitting the rack or something like that. So that's mainly what we're doing with it. And what I'm doing to kind of make it more fun as a whole is on days like this where it's just light percentage-based tempo work, I'm thinking that, yo, every single rep that I do is helping me better my technique so that I don't misgroove on the platform. And then in terms of like my heavier days where I have like, you know, like on my primary squat and bench day where I work up to a heavy tempo single before my back down work, I'm thinking like, I'm kind of like Rock Lee, you know what I'm saying? Like for those of you, my homies out there who watch anime, my Naruto fans, you know, Rock Lee, how he trained with the ankle weights all that time, and he got such a high level of like speed and power with those ankle weights, but then when he took them off, man, he was on a whole nother level. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm like, yo, if I can hit this for a 5-count tempo single on squat, or if I can hit this for a 3-count tempo eccentric with a 3-count pause on bench press, then how much more can I move once the weights come off? You know what I mean? Once Brad removes some of this tempo and long pauses from me. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Anyway, next we've got 2 sets of 10 close grip Larson press for touch and go. Just getting in some good additional volume on the chest. That's why it's, you know, Larson press, so I'm not really using my legs. Keeping focus on that scapular control. Close grip, so it's a longer range of motion. Then after that, man, we just got some accessory work. You know, we got some back stuff, some bicep stuff, some shoulder stuff. Y'all know the usual. Y'all see everything on screen. Let's get to it.
I'm not sure about her.
Alright guys, so rows were feeling really good. I'm just feeling really good today. But anyway, next I have what's called the rock back dumbbell overhead press. And it's a little bit different because instead of just being seated normally and kind of being in like an upright or even kind of extended position, I'm actually trying to like really like tuck my pelvis in and be more curved inward like this. Then from here, when I'm pressing upward, I'm still trying to make sure that I elevate the scapula a little bit, but without letting myself extend too much. So this is only gonna be my second time doing it. I'm still getting the hang of it, but you guys will see in a minute what I'm talking about. Alright, that's it for the workout. You guys saw that I got to finish off with the bicep exercise of choice. Last week I decided to go with this seated curl machine just because it just feels really good. I'm enjoying like, you know, the little pump work. So I'm just sticking with it. And with all my movements, you know, even if it's something like, oh, chest supported row of choice, bicep exercise of choice, I pick one movement for that block and then I stay consistent with it for the whole block. And really even for like 2 to 3 blocks, because I do try to gradually, progressively overload even on my accessory movements as much as what I can while staying true to the RPE set for it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. I don't have much else to say. I have no clue how long this video is going to be since it pretty much covered like 3 days worth of training. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If you're not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can get better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch you guys later.